Hello, good morning, happy Tuesday. I got a Zilby here with us. He doesn't want me to sit down right now. He wants me to hold him. Hello, Asitsu. How are you doing today? I would put the desk in the standing mode, but he gets freaked out by that if I'm holding him. So this is what we got. This is gonna be our stream, right? Just holding Zilby, petting him, slow blinking at him. 'You wonder if you're crazy now that they want to ditch. Wait, okay. So you're wondering if you're crazy now that you want to ditch your SQLite database and write your own. Yes. I do vaguely remember one of the lessons, one of the classic joke lessons was that never ever 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 write your own database. Which of course obviously if somebody if ever we followed that, we'd never have new and cool and awesome databases. So that's the thing. So, are you gonna lie down or are you gonna no? Okay. No Zilby. You start with JSON, move to SQLX, then to CORM, and now you think your app just wants JSON. I mean, in the end, the apps usually just want JSON. The question though is like, how do you store that when at rest? Because that's the real usual question. That's usually the real question. Josh, hello. How are you doing today? You own your own silly database and put it on your resume to see if anyone else asks about it when interviewing. That's a good idea. Is like do something hard, put it in your resume just for like conversation bait, just to see if somebody's going to talk about it. Zilby, I'm not following you out there. Come on in. Okay. I even brought in his food and everything. He wants me to go with him upstairs, I think, which I will do like an hour and a half. Okay, so what are we doing? We are working on our UX Twitter clone. We have this from yesterday, and if I remember correctly, which I think I actually even wrote in what we're gonna do with it, but I basically want to wire this up, and then we're going to extrapolate it out into the proper sort of format. So, all right. So basically the idea here is that I want to be able to write something and then I want to be able to click submit post. Notice how it's refreshing the screen. If you don't know web dev, you'll probably be very confused by like anytime this happens when you create a form. And if you have done a lot of web dev before, you know exactly what's going on. Bamero, hello. How are you doing today? So basically this button, because I put type submit and it's inside of a form, it is trying to submit the form, which is doing it the old way, which is like a full page refresh, which actually might be the way you do it with things like HTMLX, something like that. The real way, the old way. However, when we're using something like Yew or a front-end framework, oftentimes we don't want to refresh the page. Oftentimes we just want to send a message with JavaScript and then just sort of like do something with a small snippet of data. That's usually what you want. So let's jump in here. Where are we? So we're in our home component. Here's our form. So we're going to want an event here to fire on submit, and then we'll be able to get the contents of this. And there's sort of like a lot of little things that we can go do around that. I'm thinking, let's do our event first. So we'll do let on submit. We're going to create a callback using Yew callback from. Going to get the event. And on this form, we're going to do on submit. And so you're a submit event. You are going to need to know what that is, which I always found funny. No actions available? Wait. There it is. Okay. I always found funny that it needs to know what that is, but it also knows exactly what that is. Okay, so now I like to use something called glue to get access to console log. So let's go ahead and add that in. So we're going to do a cargo add glue. I don't need all of these features already added. I don't need to add anything more. Okay, so the idea here is as soon as we submit this, let's just like log out that we have submitted, and then we'll worry about what we've submitted. So we'll use glue console log, and we can just say form submitted. All right, so we save that. We'll come back to our code here. And now whatever I write, if I hit submit post, oh, right. There's one other thing. That refresh, we have to stop that. So the first thing we have to do is prevent the default behavior of the browser with an event.prevent default. And now, no more refresh, and we have our form submitted. Okay, excellent. Now, I want to get access to, and I keep on forgetting, like I keep on having to look this up. Like I guess like we have two choices. So we have this text area here, but it's also inside this form. So if I want to get access to the text area, I could either go through the form as it's submitted with like a form data, I think, or I can try to get, I could just like get this on change. Let's do an on change for that. Because that will show us off, that will show off all of the state type stuff. So we want to store like some kind of internal state here for the form. So I'm going to do, this is going to be what, like the new post text. Use state. So we initialize it with a new string. Once I have that, I can, every time that this changes, I want to update the new post text. So we're going to do a let on, this is going to be what, text area? So text area on change. It's either on change or on input. I think it's going to be on change. Okay, so text area on change equals, I'm going to use a block for this so I can clone the new post text because I need this twice. So it's going to be new post let new text equals new post text. We have to clone you. because we're going to be creating a new callback here. We need to move that in. We're going to get the event. And on this text area, we're going to say onChange equals text area onChange. Okay, so you're just an event. We don't need to prevent the default behavior of this. We're perfectly fine with that. But we do need to get what the value of it is. Now, can I get that? Can I say like event dot, so I can get like event dot target. I don't think I can get the value, like the value of isn't really what I think it is. Let's try a glue console log of the event itself. First of all, will you let me do this? No. Oh wait, maybe. Yes, you will let me do that. Okay, so I'm not using the new post text yet. That's fine. But we have this event and I'm logging it out. So now you can see whenever I change. So change is interesting. Basically, if I click away, that's when it changes. And I think that's okay for what we want. And what we want to get is, I want to get the target. And then in here should be the value somewhere. There's the value, which is exactly what's inside of here. And so if I make a change, that's going to happen again. And then we'll see that value somewhere in here, the target value. There it is. Okay, so I want to get access to this value. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure that this event, if I try to get the target, so event, I can get the target. But, okay, so it's an option event target. Let's go ahead and unwrap that because I'm very certain that we're always going to have that. Event target. Okay, so can I get the value off this one? I don't think I can. Value equals the target dot value. See, yeah, there's this value of, which means I need to convert this into the proper type, don't I? So to do that, we need to do something. I always forget the exact name of the crates that we need. Basically, I need something to do the conversion. I need the thing to know what to convert to. So I think it's 2 crates we need. Let's go find them. It's like websys and something else. So I often just come back to the docs whenever I need to. Okay, so components. Ooh, I think it's websys. I think it's websys. And they have an example inside of here. So I want the thing that allows me to cast an unknown thing, sort of like a more generic looking Rust object, into a very specific HTML Rust object. This unchecked into, this is what I want with this HTML element type, like generic there. I guess that's not a generic, that's a type. So, okay, unchecked into, so that means I need, I do need websys for the type. So there's the HTML element, and I need wasm bindgen for this. Let's go ahead and install wasm bindgen. And I think I don't need, let's see, I don't need any of these features. So I think I'm good there. Okay, so that's good. And then I need to install the other one too. So right after that. Okay, WebSys. Now WebSys is going to be interesting because WebSys has 1,587 deactivated features. They used to just list them all out. It looks like Cargo Ad has updated so it doesn't try to do that anymore, which is nice because it just filled up your history with all the things that you might potentially want. So basically, every single one of these types that you might want, these are essentially features inside of WebSys, and we're going to want to convert this into a text element. So I believe what we want is to actually do a HTML text area element. There it is. HTML text area element. They sort of follow the same pattern, so it should be fairly easy to sort of understand what you want. All right, so let's add this in. What is that? HTML text area element. Okay, so I think now we can head back to our home page and update this. Drago, hello. Thank you for the raid. How are you doing today? And how was your stream? What are we working on? Thank you for the bit, Drago. Oh, it's been a while since I think we set up that sound and hadn't really got that tested. So thank you for that. So how was your stream? What are we working on today? You're okay. So you're making exercises with Java. Nice, excellent. We are working on building an X Twitter clone with Yew. We have just we currently have this as our the top sort of like creating a new post here. So we have, you know, a title, we have a text area, and we have a submit button. When we click the submit button, so we get the target with event.target. I then do this unchecked into, which you notice you need this JS cast in order to run this unchecked into. I give it the new type that we just got, this HTML text area element. I can now run the value method on it, which is a getter, which gets me the value, and then I want to put that inside of here. So now we're going to do the new post text. I want to set this. It needs to be a string, right? So that's going to be the value. And that's it. Like that just sort of sets it in here and doesn't really do anything else. Now, when we submit the form, I want to now grab access to this. So we're going to do the exact same trick that we did here. So I'm going to surround this with brackets. We're going to get the new text post out of there. We're going to move it into here. We prevent the default. That's fine. I then want to grab the value, so that I guess like the post text. And I want post text. That's going to be this new post text. Now it's inside of this state, so I want to deref this out. Which actually I might be able to just do with a deref like that. You're going to be upset because I don't want to move this. So I wonder if I can just clone this out. Either I can clone this out or I can get a reference to it, which that might be better. So here's a reference out of this. Or I can do something like as stir or whatever. It doesn't really matter. So now I have this new post text, and now I can do the entire glue console log posting, like new post with text. Now, unlike most of the sort of like print lines or formats or anything else where I do like a little brackets inside of here, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to do just the new post text here. This is trying to the trait bound from, oh, not you new post text. This is post text. Sylvie, you're back. Basically, this is trying to emulate console.log. So in this is how it works. You can basically hand it any number of things and it just sort of prints them all out. All right, let's save that. And now when I type you in, we hit post and we have new post text. That. Okay, excellent. Before we send this off anywhere, this is okay, but as you can imagine, this component is going to get really, really, really big, and that's not going to be great. So we want to refactor this out, and there's a general idea, which is a component should do one thing and one thing only. And since we have this entire big framework that we're using, we might as well use it to its highest potential and do that. So for example, I'm seeing that we have like two of these titles. Now this is an H1 and this is an H2, but those can still be their own thing, right? So let's go ahead and start creating some components separate. So I'm going to see, we're in source here. Let's take a components, touch mod.rs. What do you mean you can't find that? It is, let's see, components. Yeah, you're right there. Let's restart. Okay, now we're good. So we have the components is that mod. Now inside the components, I want to create like probably this is gonna be like a header, like a title. Oh, it's a title. So let's touch let's call it a title.rs. So we're gonna do a pub mod title. I wonder if it's eventually gonna figure it out, because like this has figured it out clearly. It's just that Rust Analyzer is having a little bit of trouble with it. All right, so if we go to title, I mean, you're happy here. So, all right, so we're going to create a full component. So this is going to be very similar to the page component, but it's really just going to do one thing. All it's going to do is the title itself. And if we think about it, a title is just going to be like what, the H tag, and that's it. So, And Quitil, hello, how are you doing today? So let's see, we want a, now for this one, we're gonna want properties. So let's go ahead and we'll create a function component first. And if we think about it, we did need to do some styling. So let's actually just go straight to styled component. So pub function, we're going to call this. Now, I like to do two like word names with this, just in case you like overwrite another HTML tag. There are so many of them. It's really easy to do. So come up with a naming scheme that works. Like I'm going to use make maybe BB, which is something I would use for like a component library that I would create. I'm going to do BB title. Return HTML. And I guess we can start with an H1. Now, this just means that everything is going to have to be an H1, and that's not necessarily what we want, but we'll fix that. Now, this is not really helpful, right? Like I want something to go inside of here. So there is a way to do that using children. So we can create some props. Props are just simply a struct that we can then pass into BB title, and then we're going to derive properties on it and partial equal. So we're going to do pub struct props. This is going to derive derive properties. There you go. And partial equal. And I can't remember if it has to also implement clone or not. It'll yell at us if we need to. No, okay, I think we're good. And then we can just put whatever we want in here, and we're going to pass them in as properties. So children is a special property that is going to be basically something between the tags of this thing. Anonymously, hello, how are you doing today? X-Twitter clone, yeah, a very, very basic version of it. We already created, in a previous project, we created the back end for it. So now we're doing the front end. Basically, it's just going to have the ability to like submit a post, to CRUD post. It's a CRUD app. Okay, so children. So I could say that this is going to be a string here, and we're going to start with that. And then we're going to make that a little bit better in a little bit. And then in this children, I want this to go inside of here. So we're just going to put that, and then props, children. But we don't have access to props, do we? We need to bring that in here. So props is going to be a reference to props. Cannot move out, so we need to clone you. Okay, so far so good. If we now, let's, so we can keep on looking at this. Let's split this in half. So be split, nope. Be split. And I want to go to our home. I want to bring in this component here. So we're going to use, now, where are we? So we're in pages home. So I need to go, let's go to create components, title, and then I want the BB title. I ignore all the sort of like the code part of it. And then down here in the HTML, I want to replace this H1. We're going to just put in a BB title. And I'm going to put this X-Twitter clone inside of there. So if I say view, what are you upset about? Interprop value string is not satisfied. Let's see. You're not happy with that. Why are you not happy with that? Int prop value string is not satisfied. The trait int prop value children v node is not implemented for vtext. Does this need to be cloned now? Or like 2-owned? Competing with Elon? Yeah, of course. This is going to be definitely a fully featured. Let's see. So if you're in here, do I need to title equals? Let me see if it just wants this to be an actual, no, an actual own string. I wonder if that's going to be one of the changes in 21, because I haven't looked at the full list. Okay, so they are with the strings that I want you to be title. I think that's exactly what it was. Okay, so it wanted me to turn this into a string, and then I can pass this in here, which I think before it was okay with. So I think that might be one of the changes. And then this should appear here. So if we come back to our code, here's our X-Twitter clone up here, and then we have another title here. These are both H1, so we can replace that. Now, if I want this to be centered, for example, I want, I need to have that little bit of like the center code, right? So we would want something like let, like center equals, we actually have that, don't we? So we want style is this text align center. So I can just center. So let's do the style there. And we'll come and put you in there. Now I'm just gonna, instead of, yeah, we're gonna call this center. Now I don't always want my titles to be centered, do I? I want this to center only if I ask it to center, because we're going to try to make this more reusable. What if I don't want my title to be centered? We can basically say, okay, I want to pull in the pub, like center is a Boolean. And then we can, okay, so center is a Boolean. I want to, I have some choices here for this. I could basically update this to like not do centered here in the text. Otherwise, I can create it as like the center style here, and then I can choose to add it in or not. So let's also create a let mute styles or classes, like classes. No, that's gonna be a macro. Let's not be confusing. We'll do styles. So equals, we're going to create a vector. And then I want to, if the center, so if props.center, if that's true, I want to push this into here. So I suppose we can just take this, and we're going to say styles push, not that. I want to actually use that. So we don't need you. We don't want a semicolon. We want a semicolon there. Okay, there we go. Now we're happy. Let's import the style. Okay, so you're happy there. So styles push. I need to create the actual like classes from this, but we can do that. So we're going to say class equals, we want to use the classes macro from you, and then pass in this styles vector. And then this way it has something in it, or maybe it doesn't have something in it. Either way, it can be now a list of different things we want to do. Of course, we have an error over here, which you can barely see behind visibility, but it's yelling at me saying that our BB title here, is missing this center property. So we have to now tell it that we want you to be center equals true. And so if we do that, you're happy again. You're centered, which means that we don't need that HTML title anymore. We're good to go with it. Jim, hello. Am I making another cruddy app? Yes, we're making a cruddy app, but this time on the front end. Koovy Man, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? And how's your stream? Hello, Rumil. And hello, Albert. How are you all doing today? Stream was nice. Played some Bevy Jam games today. Nice, excellent. Silly Squirrel, hello. How are you doing today? So we are working on a Rusty front end. It's going to be a sort of like an X-Twitter clone. Currently, right now, this is what we've got. We've got a title, which we just put into a reusable component. We've got another title, which is smaller, that we still need to put into a, to use this reusable component for. A text area and a button. When we click that button, we get a little console log, but nothing really happens with that. In previous streams, we created a backend for this, so that already exists, and that's written in Axum. Hello, Josh. So this is all written in a program, a framework called Yew. So if you're familiar with web development and you know something about React, you pretty much know Yew. Yew is like pretty based on React. So all you basically then need to know is the Rust part. So if you know Rust and you know React, you won't need very much to sort of like get productive pretty quickly with Yew. It is pretty cool. I like it a lot. It also has some of the same problems that React has, namely that you have to do a lot of stuff yourself. That's one of the everybody was like really big into, oh yeah, this is going to be the future. Everybody just programs everything. And I think that we're sort of seeing a push away from that in web development again recently. Then the other problem is that it is the slowest of the Rust frameworks. Like Yew still gets fast because of WebAssembly, but that doesn't help when you have other WebAssembly based frameworks that don't do that and therefore are way faster. But at the very least, you'll be slightly faster than React. Juice, hello. Leptos for the win. Yeah, we played around with Leptos a little bit. I want to try some more. I think I want to wait until they're like a little bit farther development in, because like they're still requiring nightly for all the really cool stuff. You'll be productive with Yew. You can do Yew if you know. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly it. All right. So do you already try cargo expand style component to file? Now we did that a long time ago. I don't remember. I didn't really try it recently. We could try it again and sort of play around with it. Do I have cargo? I think I have cargo expand here. So let's see. Here's a title. So we'll do cargo expand. Can I not? Isn't it a path to thing? Is it not? Do we have to give it like the name of, what is it? BB title? How do I do the exact same, the right thing? I don't remember what the command is for cargo expand. And I don't want to spend too much time on that. It's like rough past the crate. I don't want to do the entire crate though. Like that's the problem, is like that'll get way too much. So I'd have to create like a new project and then sort of like set that up. So maybe another time we'll do that. Yew seems a little bit more solid and mature currently. Yeah, it's still not 1.0, which is unfortunate. I feel that we're starting to like get people who are like, okay, we need 1.0, and then we're starting to see the libraries actually get there. Like with the hyper update to 1.0, I think we're about to see a big 1.0 push for a lot of libraries, which is going to be really good. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, just cargo expand path to module. So what have you? Oh, okay. This is what I did before. So, let's see. So what would that be? That would be under starting with library, like components, title, BB title. Oh, there it is. Okay. Well, that's not really all that helpful. Like, okay, so it turned it into a struct. It has this marker and function component. So it's moved a bunch of our stuff somewhere else. Somewhere else. So I don't know where it went. Remove the BB title bit? Yeah, we could do that. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So oh, I can't do full page on floating panes. Oh, that's too bad. I can make this bigger width-wise. Okay, here's the beginning of the unwrapped. So it creates a pubmod title, like uses all this stuff. It has like a props wrapper, a lot of things. Crazy Frog, hello, how are you doing today? Doing front end in Rust looks painful. I think that it can feel more painful if you're like really used to and you like know front end in JavaScript. There's a lot more that you need to write, but at the same time, there are some benefits over time. Like once you have like a framework going and you have like all there's sort of like a the boilerplate code that you need set up for yourself, then it becomes more of a Lego. It's like putting Legos together, which is very similar to like working with React. So to me, it has like a very similar pain points of React, which is also like to me painful to work with, but also like the most popular front end framework still. It'll take a while before everything else takes over. Okay, so here's our BB title. Lots of stuff. I'm not going to go through all this right now. There's it's a lot. Does it turn? I think it turns it into a struct component, right? Yeah, so this turns it into a struct component. Does it derive any? Oh wait, it wouldn't derive it because it would like extract out and do whatever it's supposed to do from the derive. So basically, it converts your function component to a struct component. So fun stuff. Okay, so we have our title, we have the form. Okay, so over here, we're talking about this title over here. We've replaced you. That's great. Now I want to replace you if possible. So we want to take this H2. So we want to, let's do a copy you, put you in here. BB title, we want to take this create new post. Well, this is kind of annoying, isn't it? Where we have to like now bring this out. Let's see if we can fix this first. So instead of using a string, I'm going to switch to using a different data structure that they give us, which is an attribute value, which is basically like a string, but it can also be a number or anything else in the front end. And it's a wrapped, which means that reference counted. It's a smart pointer. It's now free essentially to clone it, which we have to do, as you can see here, a lot. There's a lot of cloning in Yew. So if I do that, I think I can go back to having Yew just like that. Can I not? Oh, it's not satisfied for that. Oh, I was really hoping that I can set the attribute value to be something like that. I can set the value of this, I wonder. So like if I don't do children, if I do like just the value. You're happy with that. Okay. That's the thing, is like it doesn't want me to use an attribute value or a string as like a child. It wants me to use like an actual oh wait, I remember. I was doing it wrong. I think I need to use children as children. Just sort of like a generic children here. And now that will be happy. Let's see, this will be no field children on type. Oh, I was hoping that that would work. So that's too bad. There is a way. Let's look it up really quickly. It's gonna be under properties somewhere. Here, components, properties. I want. Ooh, I don't see anything in children in here. Maybe we can find it. Oh, children, right there. Okay, children special prop type that allows us to receive nested. Oh, so it really wants HTML in there. So children is HTML. Okay, so basically the field name children and then HTML as the type. Okay, that's good to know. It probably won't be happy if I do like children. Ooh, okay, that works. So I do children HTML and then we just pass it in that. So we don't have that anymore. BB titles, this becomes centered. We're going to use this as what was that? Did I lose it accidentally? This is going to be like create post. What happens if .expect is called on runtime in WASM? So the .expect basically, I mean, it really depends. If it's successful, nothing happens. It just, things work as expected. If it fails, it crashes the program. So it pretty much works exactly the same thing. So behind the scenes, Rust is creating code inside of WASM that will handle the expect, both in a good and a bad cases. Okay, so now our create post is centered. I wanted this to be not true. The problem here is that I don't want to have to enter in like center false all the time. I really would prefer to just do something like this, is like only have center true if I need center, like if I want it to be centered. So let's change this to be an option. So we could change this to be an option. So I'm going to back match surround that. I'm gonna make you optional. Let's see, has prop center. Oh, if prop center. Okay, so I want to do if props dot center is some, because like I don't really care. So I guess like is some and the value is true. we already know it's a Boolean, so I can just do that. Like the only way to restore site logic is reload the page or reload WASM module in JS. What do you mean? Like, oh, you're talking about like if it crashes, that kind of thing? Like you can handle the expect. Like you can put, like instead of doing expect, you could just do your normal way of handling it, and then things will recover. Let's see. So you're upset because oh, is that a change? It used to be that if it was an option, I don't have to have it. No, I don't want that. I want, oh, that's just because of the search. So function components, memory speed, props macro, option. So option to receive props. Okay, so with props, that's great, but when deriving properties, all fields are required by default. Okay. Did they change this? They're not. I'm not seeing anything with option in the property anymore. So I think now they want us to, okay, cool. We're going to use the prop or false, or the proper default. This probably is the one we wanted to use. So instead of the option, we're going to say you're a Boolean, and then we're going to set a prop or default, like that. So this is going to set the center to be default false because a Boolean is false by default. So if prop set center, now if that's true, then push that in there, and then this one is perfectly fine down there. Stacking, hello, how are you doing today? Pretty much don't write expect unless you know it will never panic or you really want to force crash. That's true. But sometimes dependency create, calling unwrap, so catch, unwind, reload page, reload WASM. If you're using a dependency crate that's calling unwrap, that's a pretty bad front end crate. Like it's, I haven't really run into that before where anything is running unwrap inside of a library that I'm using, unless I wrote the library. That has happened. Xanax, hello. Most of the time, most crates that I'm using are basically, they're bubbling up the air, so they'll return a result of some kind, and then you can handle that. So I can use I can use any error library that I want, and it just works. Okay, so we have this. Now I don't have to have a center there. There, create post. You're still an H1, so we have two H1s, which is not great. So I probably want some kind of level. It's like pub, like I want a level. Now this could be like a U8, but what if somebody like were to give it out of bounds? I want to like make sure that it's set the way I want it to. So what if we just say, I have a pub enum. This is gonna be a BB title level. And so we're going to have 1, 2. So we can just say, look, right now, these are the only 2 levels that we're allowed to have in the app. And this could be like, this could be good for enforcing a style guide across your entire app too. And this is where the power of Rust actually starts coming in, is now you can enforce, and like people can't actually use any other levels. Even if they want to, it'll just crash if they don't. Like it won't let you compile, which is the power of a good type system. So you're gonna be a BB title level. Okay, now it's gonna yell at me until this implements partial equal. Okay, so you implement partial equal, so we have level there. I want to, Now, this is going to force it every single time, but that's okay. We want to, so we can come back to here and we can say, okay, I want our level to be equal to a BB title level 1, and then you should be BB title level 2. Okay, so you're happy there. We have to actually do something about this. Now we want this to be unique based upon whatever we want that to be. And then the only real difference here is just the H1, and then that's sort of like what we want here. So I could maybe have like a render function that we call on the level, and it just creates this like H1 or whatever. So that, I think, to me, that feels like the most appropriate for this. 70% of crates. Yeah, but how many crates do we actually use that have that problem? Like, because like, yeah, there's a lot of crates that have that, but how many crates are we actually using for that? Is there some Rust or Clippy linter for checking unwrap usage in crates? I don't think that there is. I don't think so. That would be pretty cool if you could set up Clippy to say like no unwrap. Are there such a thing as Yew templates, like they have those in React? As in simple landing pages, you can copy and paste and then expand. There are template libraries that people are sort of making. Yew is still pretty early on, so I don't know how many people who are like in the sort of design space are creating those yet, or how many of them are being made like publicly available yet. So not sure. I did create a not really like a full template for my own stuff yet, but it is mostly HTML, so you might be able to get away with sort of like taking one and then sort of like creating it. I think I don't think it would be that hard to create though. Okay, so I'm going to want to call like a render on this. Let's impl BB title level, and we're going to have a pub function render, which will take in a self, and we're going to turn HTML. Let's match on self 1. So in the case of that, we want to return HTML. This is going to be that H1 tag. Now we do need the classes coming in here. So if we take in the styles, which is going to be what, that vec of style, then what we could do is just take this throw you in there. Okay, that's gonna be fine. We could have like the children show up in here too, or we might be able to get a yeah, we probably want the children in here as well. So let's see, do I want that? Do I want a children, or I think this is like a V node is what it comes in as. So you're gonna be children. I could also just pass the props directly in there too. What are you upset about? Can I find style? Okay, so import style, match on self. Okay, missing other match arms, then we're fine. So just like React, there are many ways to solve this problem. This is just obviously one of them. So now I can just call you. So I don't even need this HTML anymore. Now I can just call props.level.render. We pass it the styles, and we pass it the props.children. Cannot move out. Okay, so let's clone you. You're happy, and now everything looks the way it's supposed to. You are, oh, you're both H1 still. Let's see. So you have, oh, I'm trying to tell you to be level 2. Level 2, level 1. Oh, you know what would be helpful? If I actually updated that. So if I look for 1 and replace it with 2, now you are level 2 and you're level 1. Okay, so that's now we can just use this title wherever we want in our app. So we've successfully created a little Lego piece, and we can just sort of remove a bunch of stuff over here that we don't need anymore. Let's go ahead and create a, now we could create like a form or something else for that. The components can be as big or as small as that you want. There's a lot of different design theory in front-end development for component design and how that's going to work. If you're just starting out, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just think about like anytime that you reuse something, make it its own component. So like if you're ever going to need a text area again, just reuse that. Otherwise, you could just create a form, like your own form component that's separate for this specific thing. And then you have different sort of levels of components. So let's say I did want to like pull this out and have it not be in the page. Like what if I wanted that when we submit this form, it just goes to the home page and then that's it. Like that's, it's basically, I want a submit, like a create post component. That's what I want. So I'm going to do a touch create post. All right, same thing again. Creating a snippet for creating components is probably really helpful. Unfortunately, there is no snippet for Helix yet, so we just gotta recreate this every single time. So this one I'm gonna do as a create post. I'm not gonna do BB because to me the BB is like a really like tiny little piece of something that I'm using, and this is less Lego and more of like something that Lego is sort of put together. But it's not a full page either. Okay, so I want import that. Function component is already imported, so I want HTML. Okay, we know what we want here. I want this entire form. So I'm just going to copy over here. And there's going to be some things that it's missing, isn't it? So what are you? Okay, so I'm missing things like the form. So we need to pull those in. So we're missing like the on submit, the form. We have all those. Oh, we need the class. So we need this. Okay. which those are styled components. So let's change this to be a styled component. Pull in Yew. We need to pull in the Yew state. We need to pull in the callback. We pull in the submit event. Cannot find type event, so pull Yew in. Cannot find this unchecked into, so pull Yew in. Cannot find that. And finally, okay, I think we're about there. Okay, no errors anymore. Ooh, okay, so you found a linter. Unwrap used, level deny, priority 0, and cargo de tomo. Nice. Okay, that'd be pretty cool. Coding with Axelar. Hello. How are you doing today? Thank you for the SQL bulk inserts. That was really helpful. Awesome. I'm glad that that was helpful. And now I want to just add that in here. So we're gonna do, now what I've noticed is that if I create a self-closing tag like this, I can trick Rust Analyzer to helping me autocomplete this. So this is the create post, and now it knows to find that. This is already actually just going to be a self-closing tag, and that's gonna be fine. So now we have 2 of these create posts, and regardless of which one I use, they actually print out their own things. So that's the nice thing about components. Now, we don't actually need this entire thing here anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete you. And we don't need this center anymore. We don't need the form. We don't need the event handlers. So get rid of all of you. Our home is looking pretty simple back again, which is nice. I don't need that form. I don't even think I need this style, the center. I think all I need is just that we have this global title and we have the create post. Okay, great. And then I want to emit out when this updates, I just want it to emit out to here. That it does. So we're going to do a custom event for this. So on submit, we get the post text, and right now we're just console logging this. But what we can do is we can take into the, we're actually not taking any properties in. Let's change that. So we want a, so this is going to be a callback. So we're going to call this like on create post. So on create post, that seems to be the naming convention that is used. Is sort of following along with the good old HTML naming convention. So I'm just going to keep on using that here. And this is going to be a callback. And then we're going to set like, what is this? What is going to be sent? Let's send a, now we get here, we get a stir, like we get an actual like string from this. So let's just emit out a, we could emit out a string. How it is recommended, it's best practice to just emit out and just use attribute values whenever possible. And that's just because those are free to clone. So even if I end up getting a an attribute like a string at this point in time, it'll be fine. Let's go ahead and also update the rest of this to use attribute values. So I'm not going to use a string new. We're going to change this to be an attribute value default. And then you, let's not worry about the console log right now. This value, okay, so we get the string out of here, and that's gonna be fine, but what I can do is I can just do an into on it. and that converts it into an attribute value. So now I have this. I don't want to get I just want to clone you out, which is free. Cannot move out of oh, right. I have to deref here. Like that, and then I can clone it, right? Wait, what are you? UC and handle string. Oh, it won't let me deref out and then get the clone? If I clone that, that will just give me the clone of this, which is not exactly what I want. How do I get, because like clone will just give me the wrong thing. It's the uState handle that I've cloned. Can't I, do I have to give the trait? Oh, that's what it is. I have to make sure that I get the standard ops deref there in order to then use deref the way I want to use it. Okay, so then I set that. So this comes out. This is now going to be an attribute value leaving this, which means that I can now create a callback handler for when the post is created. So we can say our let. This is going to be the on. What do we call this already? This is the on create post. We're going to do a callback from. Now, this is not just an event. This is the actual like post. So, and here we can just do console log. We'll just console log the post. And then on this create post, you're going to yell at us until we pass this in. So I want the on create post there. No field on create post. I need to save this, don't I? Oh, I need to actually use this. This is our props. It is props. There we go. Okay. So the JS value implicit clone iString is not satisfied, so it doesn't really know how to print this out. Now I can get out, so like a proposed from an attribute value. I like what can I get? I can get the string from it, can't I? Like toString or an asstr or something like that. Type annotations needed. Oh, that's the problem. I need to tell you that you're an attribute value. Wonder if that would be okay. Let's find out. No. That needs to be turned into something that the browser really knows what to deal with. Okay, so then coming back to here, we type in a bunch of stuff. We hit submit. Nothing happens. What went wrong? Did anything go wrong? So we have this props isn't being used. We're not actually emitting this out, are we? So we need to do this. So on submit, I also need to clone out. So this is going to be the props on create post. What is this called? This is on create post equals props dot on create post. We're going to clone you. We move that in here. We get the post text, and then we want to say our props on create post. We want to emit out the post text. And that's it. That should now emit out of here and then come out to here. There we go. Okay. Now there's this can be really powerful. So the idea here is that it's a callback function. So it's very similar to the React method where you pass in a function, which is over here, and then you catch that in the properties and sort of use that to call up to the parent. So you say, hey parent, this thing happened, it changed. But there is a really cool thing that we can do, which we can say the prop or default at this point in time. What that means is that I don't actually have to have this on create post now. We have separated them out. So now this component just emits up, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't care if a parent is paying attention to it. And the parent doesn't actually care whether or not the child emits anything. It can, or it cannot. And if we choose to use it, we still get the power of the type system helping us out. So I really like this a lot. It gives me sort of like a feeling of slightly more towards the like sort of like the Yew side, where you could emit things out, but then you don't care if something catches it, which I think is a huge really nice thing to have. I don't know, I started like saying huge for something, I didn't know a good thing to say for it. I missed a bunch of chat, sorry about that. So let's see. Yeah, links for your own crate, but not for your dependencies. Yeah, that's too bad. I think it's not so difficult to analyze dependencies with linted logic. I mean, yeah, so like I know that there are tools that like a variety of security companies like Sneak, I think, have created that allows you to like look through other repos that you're using. I have no idea if they look for unwrap though. I know they'll look for other things though that like are security vulnerabilities, and that's always nice. Never panic until some guy who does not write the code will change something. It's not a well, I mean, like, I guess the idea is that we should just like, if you write code and then it panics or it does that, just don't use that again or submit a pull request for that. So far I've never run into that problem myself. Also really important, use some kind of logging library to like find out if it panics. So I set up Sentry on my LMS, and I get notifications if something were to like unwrap and cause an error. I would actually get that I've actually got it. Like I ran into one problem where it's like, oh yeah, I need to fix that. And then I did. Okay, so let's clean up our warnings. We have a bunch of these. I don't think I need any of those. I don't need any of these. Don't need you. Oh, I need the style component. Okay, I deleted a little bit too much. Import that. Import you. Okay, import you. Import you. Okay, but nope. Okay, more stuff. Import you. Import you, and then finally create post. Import you. Okay, so we're happy here. No more errors and warnings, but in the rest of the project, okay, so we have this function component that we don't need anymore. We have in the title that attribute value, which is really hard to see. So let's go to that and then delete it. Delete that. Okay, I think we're good to go. So no warnings, no errors, everything is happy. Excellent. Pwn Writer, hello. How are you doing today? Don't panic. The answer is 42. Just never panic, right? Logging panic messages is not easy at all. Yeah, it's true. Like oftentimes it's well, I like the things in in Yew, because like if I throw a panic in here, like let's say in this render function, we just what if I have a none unwrap, like if I just throw this, which you're gonna yell at me because like, why are you doing that? Oh, type annotation. Let my thing, which is going to be an option with a, I don't know, an I8 equals a none. I just want to do thing.unwrap. So if I cause like an error like this, we get the error right here, and I get to see like, oh, look at that. Panic source components title line 37. So I actually get to see exactly what this is. And I can see where it comes from. I can see that it's on my code and not in the library code. So this is something that Yew gives us that's really, really, really nice. It's not something that you just get normally in WebAssembly without a lot of work. So that's like another big reason to use something like Yew, because like you get so much benefit to it. Okay, so it's 8:22. We got a little tiny bit of time. Let's start moving towards creating an API call. Yeah, it uses console error panic hook behind the scenes, which you need to set up yourself with WebAssembly if you're not using that. Okay, so I want to make a call to our database. So when we've now have access to our, what is it called? We have access to the post text. So let's go ahead and quit. So I want to buffer close you, just buffer close everything. Now we don't really have like an API something here. Let's go ahead and create that. So I'm thinking in source, I'm going to create like an API, and then that will be what we just do to send things out. I think in this case, I can probably get away with a single file API because this is a pretty small project, but you could potentially create like an API like folder with a bunch of different API calls and or files in there that are sort of doing everything else and setting up what you want. This is what I usually do in my JavaScript based front end, so I think it'll be fine. Let's go into source, attach api.rs. Now things for this, I don't know if I need anything more, and I think we're gonna be fine. So jump into here, let's go to lib, let's mod API and head on over. So we need to do some asynchronous code for this to hit our backend, and we have the over here. We know we know what we want to hit. Actually, let's not open that. Let's do. Oh, let's open up the README. Not models, testing? Yeah, testing. So here's to create a post. Here's what we do. We send a post request to our API. We have to set the content type to application JSON, so we have to send JSON to it. And then it's really just going to be text and then the actual text of the post. So, okay, simple enough. So a few things that we're going to run into, but let's not worry about that right away. So let's start with just creating an asynchronous function. So I pub async function, maybe like create post. All right, so we need to like have the thing that's coming in. Well, we have like the post text. So let's do post the text, and that can be an attribute value. And then we can sort of extract that out based upon what we need. Okay, that's good. I do need to turn this into some kind of JSON object though before we send it out. So we're gonna need a struct. This will be like a post, like a create post, which is gonna have the text in it, which is gonna be a string. And we are going to need to derive serialize and deserialize, but in order to derive those, we need to import that in. So cargo add cert, and then we also need that with derive. Okay, so we're gonna grab derive. Let's head back over to API. Okay, so we're gonna have a pub struct create post. We're gonna derive serialize. And right now, that's all I'm gonna worry about, is I'm just gonna drive serialize on it because I just want to turn it into the string. Deserialize would be taking it from the string and putting it back into the object. And I don't know if we're going to use this struct for that. Did I not save this? I guess I didn't save this, did I? Okay, so we're going to have our post, the actual like post text. It's going to be an attribute value. Okay, so we have you. This is all great. I need to create this struct so that our data is going to be a create post with the, you need to have a text with a you're going to be a string. Okay, so text is going to be the post text, and then I need to string this to get the string out of it. Okay, so that makes you happy. Now to send this on off to our server, we're gonna need the URL, aren't we? And so the URL is going to be interesting because that might change. Right now we have this as a local host, but what if we deploy the server? That will be a different URL. And sometimes you want like different, like a dev version, a testing version, a production version. So we environment variables, which I should be able to get access to. So let's cd out. Now I don't have anything right now. I'm going to go ahead and touch a .env. We're going to start, I'm going to start editing this here, and we're going to say the, maybe like the API URL. I guess technically it is a URL in this case. You're going to be a HTTP localhost port. Should we do this like localhost? Yeah, let's add in a port too. Your port, I believe, is this this one. I don't think I've changed it. Okay, and then I don't really care about anything else in here. I do want to update getIgnore to know about the .env right away, so I don't accidentally commit this and send it up to GitHub. Okay, so that now that .env doesn't show up on that list anymore, we're happy about that. Now let's see if we can get access to this. So in our API, I need access to the URL. So let our URL equals. Now I think I can just use var. Let's see if anything's changed in here. Let's see. The standard env macro can be used to obtain a value of an environment variable at compile time. Okay, so we just need to use the standard env macro. So this is what? The API URL. It gives us that, okay. I need to get the result from, okay, so we're gonna do that our results equals, we're gonna use glue. So I want glue, the net module, HTTP request. This is going to be a post. We hand it the URL. We want, okay, so set the body for this request. Okay, so we want the body to be the data. See how we're doing with this. It's not satisfied, so you need to be, you need to be the actual like stringified version of it. Can I, well, there's the serialize as, but I don't want to call that. Oh, wait, I don't think it's body. I think it's JSON. I set JSON to be data, expected, unknown. Yeah, to set JSON as request body, value data. Oh, it needs to be a reference to the data. Okay, we're good to go. What are you upset about? Oh, the environment variable API URL is not defined at compile time. So what I've noticed is that I need to oh, I'm inside. I've been doing this inside of the window, the floating window. No wonder things are weird. Okay, so let's quit out of here. Oh, okay. So hold on. Refresh. Reload. Okay, let's quit out everything. Let's also quit out of trunk and then retrunk serve. API URL not defined at compile time. Okay, so we need to, how do I want to load this up? There's a couple different ways. I can like source the env, the environment variable. I need that to be accessible to us. How did I've solved this in the past and I don't remember exactly what I did. I think there's a couple different ways to do this. Like I could actually just have I could have a, ooh, can I use, I can use okay, so it needs to be there at compile time. So I can use the .env macro. So the .env, maybe that'll work. Oh, but not .env. I want .env macro instead. And then if we open you back up, we go to lib. I should, not lib, I want API. I think that I can, instead of just using env like this, we change you to be the .env like that. What? Oh, come on. .env like that. Oh, it's .env. That might make you happier. Okay, so no longer crashing. Everything's happy. Now, if I didn't want to have to like pull this in, I could probably replace this with like actually loading the environment variables into local, like the local what is it called? The local sort of system. and flow, but this will be fine for right now. Okay, so we have this as a result with request and error. So now I can unwrap this, which will cause an error, or we can start returning results from this. I do like to use error, but we're gonna have to finish this up next time because I am out of time. It's after 8:30 and I need to get ready for my workday, and I also need to I need to go ready for my workday. I need to do all that stuff, and I don't want to run out of time. So with that, I guess while we're looking for places to potentially raid, any questions, any thoughts about web development in Rust? It's I find it's a lot of fun, but maybe I have like a lot of, maybe like just I have something weird in my brain for that. I'm not following anybody who is online right now, so we'll just go ahead and end it. All right, so with that all being said and done, Zilby is apparently ready for me to get done too. So thank you everybody for hanging out with me today. I will be back tonight, this afternoon, at around 2:30 p.m. I think I forgot to put it on the schedule, but I'll actually try to be back this afternoon. We'll be continuing to work on the coding game, the Mad Pod Race. And if you want more of this, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time for more of the Yew and Axum. So with that, have a great rest of your day and see you next time. Bye.